Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in to another edition of the Windy City Breeze. For everybody who's going to ring in the comments, yes, this is pre-recorded, but just because it is a Thursday morning does not mean that we don't get a little bit of content out to you in a special episode today, as we have a special guest on today. He is the host of the Dog Walk, the host of the Stretch over on Barstool, one of the major up and coming voices of the fans amongst the city. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to welcome into the show for the first time, Barstool Eddie.
Hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
What's going on, my guy?
Good, man. Doing great. It still feels like we're living in a fever dream, doesn't it? But it's a good dream, man. It's been a good dream.
Eddie, listen, I've got so many things that I'm excited about this year, my guy. We've got Bears. I mean, the Blackhawks are a little rough the last couple of games, but really like exciting. The Bulls are breathing above water. I'll take what I can get, I guess, in that situation. Like, it's a weird situation being a Chicago fan right now.
It really is, man. It felt like the floor was just yesterday, right? Like, I still wake up and I, pop open the one of the sports apps. I'll look at the standings and I'll be still a little shook, but yeah. It's like I said, it's a good feeling.
We got to talk a ton of Bears football with you here, my guy, as you guys cover everything over on the Stretch. I appreciate the content that you guys put out. But first things first, there's something very important happening tonight, or I guess last night when this episode is dropping. Stranger Things Season 5 is coming out. And I saw that you're not only massively into Stranger Things, but you got a hot take or a hard opinion on Stranger Things as well.
Yeah, listen, people got a little, I'm not going to say mad, but people were definitely a little whoa when I said that I think if they stick this landing in season 5 here, that it could leap into that tier of elite shows. I stand by that. I think this isn't just some type of little kids fun show that's on a streaming service because it started, close to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job of creating a storyline, introducing characters, and really, figuring out how to weave it all through and make it all, hit the winning shot at the end, so to speak. So I stand by that. I think it's a great show.
Now, when you say that, what are we talking tier? Are we throwing this up there Sopranos level? We throwing this up there, best of the best?
No, listen, it'd have to be absolutely insane to beat Sopranos, The Wire, or Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but listen, I think there's a table, and it works with Thanksgiving being today.
100%.
I think there's a table, and I think they'd be a lot at that table if they're able to stick this landing.
Ooh. All right,
do you agree or no? How do you feel?
Love Stranger Things. I'm not going to lie to you. Getting through season 4, I was like, this show is elite. And I didn't know if we were going to get a season 5. I knew it was set up, but I didn't know if we were going to get it officially. Once they announced it, I was like, if they finish this, this show is going to be, I'll say this, it's one of the best sci-fi shows that has ever been on the market.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the best, aliens, different dimensions, like one of those. I'll throw it up there with one of the top ones, and I'll throw it up there with the Doctor Who's in that world. And it's breaking a little bit of horror in TV as well. So I feel like it could be in that conversation. Top shows all time. That's a tough break. They would have to be, the season 5 would have to be the greatest thing we've ever seen.
But Pat, don't you think culturally it's already kind of there? Like this is one of the most watched shows ever. This is more cultural relevance than so many shows. Don't get me wrong,
I will give you when you talk about one that I'll say this, there's not many shows that come out that I think last night did and what this weekend is going to do, and kind of throughout the year. They're dropping it in stages here and going into next year. There's not many shows that stop us in our tracks that we have to watch.
Yeah,
I think we're out of that era now. So the fact that they are one of those shows is incredibly impressive.
It really is. And listen, like I said, they still got a job to do. The work's not finished. They still got to, lead that Super Bowl charge, and they got to hang the banner. But man, I think people are just being haters if they don't realize that this is a really good show.
You know what I've realized too, though? A lot of people have gotten out of it because of the gaps in production. Like you said, it's been over 10 years since the first season came out. I feel like people have kind of been like, I'll come back to it eventually. And when it's finally all done, you'll get people that'll binge it all the way through and probably be in lock with you on your opinion, I would think.
What do you think? Like, what is your like? Who's at your table? Are those three I mentioned, like Sopranos, Breaking
Yeah,
Bad,
I
The
mean,
Wire?
listen, you've got to throw the greats up there. Sopranos, you got to throw Breaking Bad up there, The Wire up there. See, I actually do put some of the new era ones. I don't know if you've seen the Sylvester Stallone this new show
The Tulsa King?
Tulsa King.
Is that what you're talking about?
Phenomenal. But yeah,
Okay, yeah.
phenomenal.
Okay.
Phenomenal. And then of course, you've got your Breaking Bads that are forever going to be up there. But there are some that are coming out now where it's like I could watch this no matter the situation. I don't know if Stranger Things is there yet.
Okay.
Like I feel like you'll throw on an episode of Sopranos to be like, I got an hour and a half to kill.
Yeah, no, I got you. I
don't know if Stranger Things is there yet, but if you finish it right and you go through all the moments, then it usually becomes that.
Yeah, and I think being a little slow has definitely hurt their case. But I do think every time I watch a season, I'm never disappointed.
That I agree with. You're never disappointed finishing. Hopefully they finish this one out right. Let's talk a little bit of Bears football, though, while we got you here. We can go Stranger Things all day. I'm not going to lie to you. I was literally rewatching the last episode as before we started the pod here. We've got, as you said, you got to finish it out. But to this point in the season with the Chicago Bears, it feels like we have something special here, Eddie. And when I see this, I mean, there's people who are sitting around me, and maybe I'm always the optimist, but there's people that'll tell you, we've seen a pop-up season before. You can't know anything until next year. You'll never know what this team is going to be until we finally figure out down the road, yada, yada, yada. All the doubt that we've seen. To you, does this season feel different than, say, a year one Matt Nagy? Does this season feel different than a 0-1 run that we went on? Or, we go to the Super Bowl and we're competitive for those years, but we never really get back to that dominance that we saw that Super Bowl season. Does this feel like another pop-up season of winning and then you'll be competitive? Or do you feel like this is a little different?
I think it's different, and here's why. And I don't say this to be a hater, to be negative, to be down on this team. I'm super proud of this team. I love rooting them on. I love that they find ways to win. I love that most of these games, if it was last year, we would have lost these games. But I'm surprised because I still don't know how good this team is. Like 2018, it was undeniable. That defense was going to give you a shot every single Sunday.
Yeah.
Every single Sunday, dude. The impact that guys like Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack could just the will that they can the will that they could put the shove on you was every time, man. And it was something that was always replicable. I don't know if this is something that is. I mean, it has been to this point.
Yeah.
But we still got 6 games left to kind of see if we can make it to the dance. Will we get there? I don't know. But I think that's the biggest difference is, granted, we had our troubles on offense that season. That defense was still a unit that nobody can say anything about because that was as legit as they come.
Does it not feel like, in a different sense, because I think the players on the field are what always make the most, right? Put you in the best position. But that year, right, you talk about that defense. I think of Vic Fangio really, coaching his butt off that season before going and getting a head coaching job. I look at this as that situation with the coaching staff that we have here with Ben Johnson, with Dennis Allen, where what you're seeing this season is real because of them, because they continue to week in and week out adjust. I feel like with that moving forward, I can't see a world where all of a sudden Ben Johnson's bad at managing a football game, or all of a sudden Dennis Allen's like, yeah, let me just start calling the worst defense you've ever seen in your life. Like, I feel like because of the coaches we have here, it is a little bit more sustainable. And maybe it's not with the player talent yet because of injury, but is that not a feather in the cap of the coaches because they just won a game with no linebackers?
Oh, listen, and I could say that too. Like, I think we're onto something.
Yeah.
I absolutely think we're onto something. I don't expect this team to, if they come back to life this year, I expect us to be better next year, right? Like I do think we're onto something. I'm starting to really trust our offense. I think that unit's going the right direction. The defense has stepped up. I mean, look at what happened in that Bengals game. Like
That
I
was
like
crazy.
it was nuts, dude. It was how do you have any confidence in the unit after that? And it's kind of held up a little better since then.
Yeah.
It feels like so. It's not to like I said. It's not to take anything away from this team. I would. I would listen. I would die for Ben Johnson. He's the man. You know what I mean? Like he's it. Like he's the real deal. Like he is everything as advertised. So I'm confident in the future of this team. I'm just saying, as far as a pop up,
Right.
if you said if this stretch, this 8-3 stretch is a pop up, and then things go down, I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of what I'm
Mm.
saying. But as far as the longevity, like, sure, I'd like to see what they do at the offseason. I'd like to see how they're going to address this pass rush and, kind of see, because I think this team is all steam ahead after this year.
So you're still not convinced on playoffs this year right now. You're still saying because of the gauntlet coming up, there's a real world where you're still outside looking in.
I think there is. I think there's a real world. Absolutely. I think you probably at least got to go 3-3.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be easy to do, man. And I'm just going off based on what we've seen for the
Mhm.
whole season. Sure, I'm not going to crucify this team too much for what they did in week 2 because, we've grown
Yeah.
as a team. We're a much better team. But at the same time, you got to think about it a little bit. That was our only head to head with someone like that. And that's our head to head with the team we got in the final week of the season. It's going to be thought about. That's your measuring stick to some degree. Like, sure, it's not going to be completely the same, but you gotta it's impossible not to have those thoughts a little bit in my eyes, at least.
Does Frank Ragnow returning to the league change anything for you, Doug? I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw that. I was like, ooh, well,
Yeah.
second place ain't that bad.
Yeah, man. I don't know why more guys don't do that. Like I don't know why Aaron Donalds isn't just like, man, that team's pretty good. I'll go
Yeah.
suit up for the last, 6 games in playoffs. Why not?
It was insane. Like seeing that tweet drop. I'm just like, what are they honoring Ragnow this week? And then Ian Rappaport quote tweets. He's like, no, he's coming back. I was like, that's a blow to the NFC North right there. I think that's going to be a tough matchup. Let me ask you this then, though, because we do have a massive matchup coming up tomorrow versus the Philadelphia Eagles. That is kind of the game that I feel a lot of Bears fans are looking at and saying, all right, you win that, I'll believe a little bit. Like there is a lot of people who are in your boat where you're like, I get it. I see it. We're 8-3. Where's the bottom falling out? Where do I fall in the trap door here? If we find a way to win versus the Eagles, who, yes, they've had their struggles in the past, but they are still the championship Eagles. I think we still think they are one of the favorites to be in that NFC title game this year. Does that change the outlook of this season in your mind?
I don't think so. I'd like to at least compete, even if we lose the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to get smacked out there, right? I don't want to see. I don't want to get held to 3 points, because that's the biggest matchup in my eyes. Is like, we're looking at this offense, like, where are we really at? Because that Eagles defense, sure, they slipped up a little bit against the Cowboys. But the Cowboys are a legit offense, man. I'm a Dak guy. I don't know where you stand on that. I think CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Obviously, George Pickens is supremely talented. So that's a good offense. So I want to see where the Bears kind of stack up against that Eagles defense, because the Eagles defense outside of that game has been one of the best units of all of football if you stack them all up separately,
What's a win do for you? Does it give you, see, because for me, like I am already in the mindset of playoffs. So, you make a wild card weekend or you make a divisional round, maybe you lose, but I am in the mindset that at a minimum we are in the playoffs. We beat the Eagles. I'm not gonna lie, Eddie. First off, I got to do like multiple post game shows. It may be a pants off post game show. Like I've said this multiple times. I will wear basketball shorts, but it may be a pants off post game show in that studio. And I go from thinking like, I think you could be a really competitive team in the playoffs to like, oh, you might be able to get an NFC title game and really have a good look at it.
That's valid, man. I think that's totally valid. But this is the stretch where we needed to get to.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is where we need to get to. Listen, because Green Bay, let's call it what it is, man. They've stuffed our shit in the last how many years, to come out of that and be thinking like, oh, we're gonna, you hope to just split, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the perfect scenario. Let's be realistic. You hope to split. You hope to obviously get that Browns win. That's a must win. And then that leaves you with kind of, winning the rest of those games. It's not going to be easy.
No, the second half of this season, like you said, it's a gauntlet. I do look at our divisional opponents a little bit. I feel like the Lions just changed the script up because the big thing for me with the Lions was the fact that I was like, I think we can get after them. I don't know if I believe in that center play, but now that's all gone with Frank Ragnow. To me, the Green Bay Packers, though, they don't seem like a team that is out of reach. They don't seem like a team what I'm watching right now that I look at and I go, oh, like they are the class of this division. Like I would say as much as they can, Green Bay fans could talk crap about us for not winning versus dominant teams or not going out there and winning versus, a starting quarterback week in and week out, right? I can sit there and look at Green Bay and go, yes, but you tied with Dallas, who we beat. I can look at you and go, yes, but you lost to the Carolina Panthers, who still kind of don't look like a good football team. I know the record's better, but they don't look like a good football team. Like, I feel like the flaws of our opponents aren't as magnified as ours are in the mainstream media because we haven't been relevant for years. We haven't been the favorites for years. And so I do look at that Packer matchup and say, we were one blocked field goal away from beating them twice last year. Like, why can't we go out there in that matchup and at a minimum split? I'm expecting a split. Like I get what you're saying with they've kicked the crap out of us forever, but I don't think that this is Aaron Rodgers back there 2010. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Listen, like you play in the present. You play in the present, and this is the Packers we're going to see in 2025. With that said, they still got a really good defense, Pat.
They do.
They got
They
a
do.
really good defense. And this is where I say I'm just excited for the opportunity to see where this offense matches up with them.
Yeah.
Because I like our offense. I like our guys. I think we're trending. We're ascending in the right direction. I mean, just last week, you look at there. That's what I wanted. It was a healthy mix of DJ, Luther, Rome, and Loveland. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That's what we've been waiting for. And I think we're really hitting our stride. Can we keep hitting that stride when we face these elite defenses? That's the biggest question.
You got plenty of them coming up throughout this stretch.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this out here. I don't want to keep you too long here, but what are you most excited for the rest of the way and heading into next season with what you've seen out of this team at the beginning of the Ben Johnson era?
I think that's it. Is how is he going to use these pieces? How is he going to use those four guys on offense with Caleb? Right? Like that's to see them spread the ball around like that and not just let one guy eat as much as they do. Because let's be honest, like that's the Detroit method. Like,
Yeah.
of course, like Gibbs is the guy. I think Gibbs is the best running back in football. But that healthy dose of Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta,
Yeah.
Amon Ra, Jameis, like that's the stuff that makes you just like you're just addicted to watching. Like that's just football. Like that is just such beautiful football. And that's what I'm most excited to see is to really see, he's making something in the kitchen right now, man. And
Yeah.
it ain't ready. We're taste testing it and it tastes pretty good, but it ain't done yet. And once it's done, that's what I'm most excited for.
To me, I look at the rest of the season. I'm like, according to CJ Gardner-Johnson, Jaylon Johnson is active this week. He dropped that news. I'm like, okay, I don't know if you were supposed to say that. You may be having a tough conversation after this, but if you get Jaylon Johnson back, you get Kyler Gordon back, you start to piece these things together, I think you start to see some of the final seasons there. We still need more on the defensive line. That's the biggest thing. I will say this, that's the biggest thing that still scares me moving forward because you got a lot of money invested in Dio Adangbo, who's not playing, and a lot of money invested in Grady Jarrett, who's clearly hurt and is just trying to play through it and be out there for the team. That to me is probably what scares me most moving forward, and what I think will be the Achilles heel for this team whenever they do, because I don't think there's a Super Bowl run in us just yet. Unless we beat the Eagles, then like I said, pants off post game show. But is that kind of your biggest fear with this team right now moving forward? How do they address the D-line as well?
Yeah, I've been very vocal. I don't really think Ryan Poles has done the best job, and I would have reset the clock with a new GM this year with Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
If I was in Kevin Warren's shoes, that's what I would have done. And now people are like, oh, don't worry about it. We got Ben, and I get it. Like totally, I'm sure Ben was in his ear when it came to drafting Loveland and
Yeah.
coming to draft Luther Burden. But at the same same token, we need to identify guys on defense, and we haven't really done that. That's a problem, Pat. I think that's a problem that we need to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I love Javon. It hasn't popped as much as I would like to. I like his pressures this year, though. I think he has improved. But outside of that, I mean, you haven't found a piece on the defensive line and the sliders. You've gotten DBs, and then, of course, signed the linebackers. And I will say this, though. I don't know if you saw the clip of me last year losing my mind. Like I went off on Ryan Poles. I was like, stop drafting players that play like you. That was my biggest beef with Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
I feel like this year, not to say that he's completely out of the woods, but you do have to give him credit for whether it's on Ben Johnson and a heck of a draft. I think now you've got 3 players that you feel pretty confidently in: Monungai, Burden, and Loveland. And I think on the flip side of that, you got to give him credit for hiring this coaching staff, whether it's Warren and him, or it's him by himself, or it's Warren by himself. The front office as a whole has to get some kind of accolade or some kind, right? Like, I would say he's probably in the running for a GM of the year with the turnaround he had this year.
But Pat, wouldn't you say? And I'm not trying to be super critical, because you're right in some respects. Listen, Trapillo played really well. He played really well.
It might be 4. Trapillo looked really good.
He looked really good, man, and that's great. That's great.
Yes.
But let's, Pat, don't tell me if someone came up to you and said, Pat, you're the GM of so and so team, you get a blank check. Don't tell me Ben Johnson wasn't on the number 1 on your list.
But I think even that, though, right? How many years of GMs did we see who the clear number 1 guy on the list was, and they went, no, we did it here. When Bruce Arians was in the building and was like, I want the job, you just have to cut Jay Cutler. Like,
yeah, I get it. I just don't think that was as cut and dry as Ben Johnson was. Like there's never been, at least to my estimation, unless if you want to argue Harbaugh the year before, even though he came with his challenges,
yeah,
everyone knows Jim Harbaugh's challenges, but it was one of those things where it was undeniable there was a number 1 coach.
Yeah, I think it's undeniable, but it's also about selling that coach to come here. And
Totally.
and that I give him credit for. Now, does it make up for the sins of the past? No. You won't make up for the sins of the past until probably we get into 2 more Ben Johnson drafts.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're gonna have to build a team. I don't know if you watched that Rams Sunday night game, but you saw 4 years of drafts where you went, oh, they're pretty good. Look at that. Like, they're amazing because of that. They haven't paid anyone yet outside of their main vets. Like, that to me is the part where I look at it and I do get excited about what this Bears team is building, because there is this world where with now DA's input, Ben Johnson's input, you start to see the right pieces getting added to the team.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so, because obviously I don't want to be an anti-Poles guy. I want to root for the hell out of him. I want him to draft all studs. I want all Pro Bowlers.
Yeah,
but you got to call it as it is, man. And
it hasn't been good enough to this point.
It hasn't. It has not. It's been okay at best.
We're getting to the point where it's getting okay. You know what I mean? You finally got my quarterback and offensive line. It only took you 4 years to figure that one out. So, but Eddie, I appreciate you. One last thing before we get out of here: do the Bears go to 9-3 tomorrow?
I can't say yes yet, man. I can't. I'd love to, but if I'm being real, like, I can't say yes at this point. And that's no shade.
Yeah.
The Eagles are really good.
Yes.
The Eagles are really good.
I think that's the main thing. Like, most Bears fans should be here. If you're not, like, there's certain teams you just don't match up well with right now. I'll tell you one thing the Eagles won't miss on that the Steelers did. They're gonna attack your linebackers. It doesn't seem like you have linebackers. Dallas Goedert's going to get that football a lot.
Oh yeah, easily, dude. No doubt about it.
So, Eddie, we appreciate you for tuning into the show, man. We appreciate you rocking with us today. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got coming up, my guy.
Yeah, all platforms at Eddie Barstool. All my stuff's on YouTube at Barstool Chicago, The Dog Walk, The Stretch. I do some videos out in the city. You know, you name it, go check it out. I appreciate you, Pat. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Love having you on, man. And love you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. And make sure to tune in with Eddie, everything that Eddie has going on. And stay tapped in with us here as well. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.